Welcome to the bold analysis. We have been doing our civic duty to remind you to grab your identity cards so that you can register as a voter in the next general election. And I've also been reminded to tell you, throw yourself out, go and seek those elective seats. Usiogope. Go out there and also vie. The only way for the young people, for the Gen Z, to be in the decision-making table is them offering themselves for those elective seats. Ama temi pia niende nivai? No, let me do humanity here. Hiyo ni baadaye. The Nandi Senator Samson Cherargei was questioning Governor Nyong'o why Nyong'o was actually attacking the president in public while he has forums where he can address the president. And the Ramogi professional dancers, that professional group, were also calling press briefing, telling us how Orengo should be impeached because he disrespected Raila. Today, Raila Odinga has made a statement that confirmed my position here. I told you that there was no way Raila was going to choose Atandi and Junet over Nyong'o and Orengo. And let me tell you, the grand plan was actually to crumble, was and is to crumble ODM.
The issue that we need to do is that Governor Nyong'o, Governor Orengo, and Senator Zifuna must stop blackmailing the president. We shall not allow him an inch. And I want to ask with respectfully His Excellency Prime Minister Raila Odinga, although I've seen people saying he wants to run for Pope, but we want to call them out for trying to attack Baba, we will not take it lightly also, that he must call out. He must call out Governor Nyong'o, Governor Orengo, and Senator Zifuna for this incessant and irritant blackmail and undermine the broad-based government.
That for me, these things they say that I am stuck in old positions, that I am too independent. It's called values. And if you don't stand by your values when they are being tested, they are hobbies. You would rather stop calling yourself somebody who believes in values. And this party that is called ODM, until and unless you have complied with the law on how you can interact with other political parties, I hold the position that we are in a very good place as ODM to form government in 2027. There is nothing that stops us. We have alliances with people who are like-minded, people who believe in the things that we believe in. We can walk the journey with those same people and win the election. Okay. So these people who are selling off the opportunity for ODM to form government, you have to ask what is their motivation.
Okay, there are also people who believe in you. In fact, there's a rumor ongoing that the Wiper leader Kalonzo Musyoka, his DAP Kenya counterpart Eugene Wamalwa, and also the former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua held political discussions, and they're thinking of forming a political coalition. Yeah. In fact, the next step is they're coming to speak to your party leader. Are those like-minded individuals who you will form a coalition with going forward?
Let me reiterate the thing that I said here about the constitution of ODM. It is the party leader who will give us that direction. It is in the constitution, it says it is him to lead those discussions.
William Ruto understands well that there is no guarantee that Raila will back him in 2027. So he has no option but to make sure that if Raila doesn't back him, then Raila is also lame duck to have a voice in the next general election. And the tragedy here is he's using trap, the state trapping, because he knows that is Odinga's weakness, so that Odinga can be demolished. Ladies and gentlemen, Raila has responded today. And I want to demonstrate to you why exactly then Raila is coming to talk about this in public. Kindly subscribe to our channel, click the notification bell, and like our videos. And thank you very much for your support. Thank you very much for supporting this podcast. This is Cherargei and the professional dancers calling for some respect. Today, Raila has responded to those claims, to those who are attacking Orengo, and differing in a statement defending both Orengo and Nyong'o, saying that what the two are saying is it did not mean that now the party become sycophants.
Demokrasia mtu kila mtu akuna haki ya kuongea. Sama ya ODM tuliamua ya kwamba sisi tutakuwa na uhusiano. Lakini kukuwa na uhusiano sio kusema ya kwamba sisi yote tumeingia kwa serikali. Kwa mfano mnajua kule Amerikani serikali iko sasa ni ya Republican. Now they have a Republican government. But they used to have a Democratic government under Mr. Biden. Biden had some ministers who are members of the Republican Party, respect to the fact that that was a Democratic administration. Likewise, even Mr. Trump have got some ministers who are members of the Democratic Party. I'm saying Biden had ministers who are members of the Republican Party, and he was a Democratic president. And Trump has also got some Democrats in his cabinet today. There's no collision between Democratic Party and the Republican Party in the U.S. Secondly, we are running what is called a presidential system of government. We don't have opposition benches and government benches. We have what is called parliament as an institution. Parliament oversight the government. The executive implements policies. Parliament passes laws, and the executive uses those laws to govern the country. And then the judiciary, which interprets the laws. So there's really no collusion between ODM, no collusion between ODM and UDA. But it is an arrangement which is based on an MOU which was signed between us, and it was on open daylight. And there are very clear points in that MOU, 6 or 10 of them. And they are very explicit indeed. That's the reason why I don't see why people are bickering. When Mr. James Orengo talks, he's talking on the basis of a MOU between ODM and UDA. Orengo has not committed any crime. He has got a democratic right to say what you're saying. When Professor Yang Nyong'o speaks about devolution, he is talking the language of ODM. And I said it when we were in Syria. That devolution was the most important feature of this new constitution. Ugatuzi ni muhimu zaidi katika katiba hii ambayo tulitoa Bomas. Ugatuzi. Lakini ugatuzi hajafanya kazi kwa sababu hatujatekeleza kulingana na sheria ambayo iko ndani ya katiba. Devolution has not been implemented the way it should be implemented. That's why the people are not reaping the benefits of devolution. You have devolved some responsibilities, but you have not devolved the funds to give the counties the power, financial power to implement those functions. Health is a devolved function, but most of the funds are held up in Nairobi. Why should the national government be holding over 100 billion shillings, yet the health function is devolved? That is not should not be the case. The other issue is the issue of infrastructure, roads. I said that I am the one who actually informed Kura, Kera, and Kenha. But that was during the unitary system of government. Now in a devolved system of government, you don't need Kura and Kera. Why should the national government be having roads in Homabay? Why should they be having roads? The national government should only be responsible for international highways, national highways, and the trunk roads. But all these feeder roads within the counties should be the responsibility of the county government. Devolve funds and give the fund to the governors. Then they will be able to implement the program. Why should the national government be having roads in Kisumu town, city? Why should they be having roads in Mombasa city? You go to Mombasa city, many roads are not county government roads. Nairobi city itself, there are so many roads which the Nairobi county government is not allowed to touch. Why should Kenya be having roads in Nairobi city or Kura? These are issues which we need to discuss openly. Devolution is not working. Some people say that, oh, too much money is going to recurrent expenditure in the counties, 50% and so on.
Of the president. And according to him, they're having a candid debate about that MOU. Can you listen to this? And there is something I want to explain about it. From that speech, the tone of that speech itself is telling you that something is not right. He's not saying it just for the sake. Anaongea ni kama amekasirika. Why? Why? And let me put that speech into a context first. Raila was speaking in Homabay. That burial was happening in Homabay. Right in that event were one President Worship, the chairman of the President Worship team, my MP Sam Atandi. And Atandi shivered.
Kenadwana what Baba in English. Baba, your voice is very important in the governance of our country. Baba, when you speak, we respond. Baba, recently you gave a strong voice on Parliament. And I want to assure you, Baba, that Parliament is a very strong institution that only you can oversight Parliament. Whatever you are telling us to do as members of Parliament, we are taking it very seriously. Under my leadership as chairman of Budget and Appropriation Committee, yesterday, through your command, we were able to pass the county additional allocations bill, revenue bill, now giving counties for 50 billion that they are going to use to do their programs. Baba, I want to urge you that you must continue to speak to Parliament, because it is only your voice that this country will listen to. We are ready to listen to you, and on the issues you have raised about sharing of national resources, I know that there's an agreement that was signed between UDA and ODM on sharing of resources to counties. Baba, I want to assure you that I and John Badi, we are going to ensure that we fulfill the agreements that you have already signed with President Ruto. Jodala wadwana wat katiego kamae. Niwe chengeny to gima watimuru jodalawa. Nafas ma wan go matin ma wan go iteloni. Kik wakethe uru. Watiuru kode maber mondo jothuo winy maber kech mwandu sirkal en mwandu milaro ok en gir ng'ato.
That speech was targeting Gladys Wanga, President Worship. We cannot oppose the government while we are there. That speech, another person was there was Raymond Omolo. And Raila is actually addressing the ODM battalion who are attacking Orengo because Orengo was speaking about what the president is not doing right. And I told you that Orengo spoke, we said he should be impeached. Nyong'o spoke, and someone said he should apologize to the president. Now, Cherargei should also now, it is time for Kenya Kwanza to attack Raila for disrespecting the president. And I've been saying it. Serikali anatoka Mount Kenya. Serikali attacks the president. Why is it that Mount Kenya is not saying that Rigathi is disrespecting the president? It is cool, it's happening. But huko, I'm yet to see Cherargei going to attack. Rigathi is disrespecting the president. Not disrespect. Okay, let me not talk about Rigathi. Rigathi is in the caliber of Raila. Let me say someone like Wamushomba. I've not had a single MP from Ruto's side saying that, why are Kikuyus disrespecting the president and the president's given them cabinet slots? But when Orengo Nyong'o speaks, there is a reference as to, you should not attack the president and we've given you cabinet. Was it a favor? Was it a favor? It will not be that easy. It will not be that easy. Now, what I want to explain is why Raila has opted then to attack Ruto directly in public. This is what Cherargei did not want. Cherargei wanted that because he's now privileged to talk to Ruto, he should address Ruto directly. I'm telling you, Ruto will cancel that China trip and arrive here. And another context is this, and he knows it. After China, the president will spend the first week of May in Luo Nyanza. So there is a Labor Day of Madaraka Day celebration happening in Homabay? Yes. And from China, kuna adili ya dual carriage of Nairobi Nakuru Highway. That is the gospel that is going to take to Nyanza. And as he heads to Nyanza, the praise and worship team are going to be oiled with money. And so Raila is already preparing a tone. That is why he's coming out to speak about it openly and directly. And if you want to know things are not easy, my MP Atande spoke after that, and listen to his voice, listen to the tone. I don't know how many times he mentioned Baba. So they knew that Raila got annoyed by it. And I will tell you why Odinga has made that U-turn now. I'll explain to you why that is made that U-turn openly. The voices of revolt against the president are more bold and are more loud. It is increasingly becoming difficult to associate with the president. And Odinga had a threat of remaining there alone. It's increasingly becoming difficult. How do you defend a regime where letters, TSC letters are dished in funerals to MPs, MPs are dishing TSC letters? How do you defend such a government? It's becoming difficult to defend. This is Osoro talking about that China trip. Mambo ni ngumu bwana. So, Cherargei called for boardroom criticism. But I want to tell you, why has Raila come out to address that matter openly, and why decided to side with Orengo and Nyong'o? Number one, Raila understands that unlike MP Atande and Junet and some other MPs there, Nyong'o and Orengo both have national acumen. And if they were not careful, the mainstream narrative of Orengo-Raila fallout was going to divide the Luo nation. In fact, let me not say Luo, the ODM party. And let me tell you, let me ask you, can Raila have a sense of even vying for presidency of the country if Orengo and Nyong'o are not backing him, are not with him? Tell me. Tell me. Can that be a point? That is number one. And in fact, they understood. Let me tell you the way the whole thing was choreographed. Those Ramogi professional dancers, I said it and I want to repeat it. Those Ramogi professional dancers who are talking about, who are attacking Orengo, calling for Orengo impeachment, those people are not talking on behalf of Raila. They were actually advancing agenda from the President Ruto. And this was the president's agenda. The president's agenda was to ensure that you set Orengo and Raila and Nyong'o on a coalition path so that you divide that Nyanza. If you divide that Nyanza, there are two outcomes. Number one, Raila endorsement might not be necessary. Might not be necessary. And if you weaken that wing, it means that Raila cannot vie. Ooh. And I think Raila might also have realized that it's not that the country hates Rigathi. Yes. What the voices against Ruto are too loud and too many to ignore have been saying it. So the probability of that Rigathi getting Orengo in his side was there. Yes, that probability is there, and it was there. And Raila realized this is too dangerous to gamble with. The other reason waves come out to speak about this matter openly is Raila wants to end the sycophancy. And let me tell you, the ODM battalion sycophancy is not a genuine one. It is a bought sycophancy. It's a sycophancy that has been bought. And I want us to use a very good example. The MOU on the president's handlers interpreted. Remember, the MOU was signed after Raila were given some cabinet slots. And let's get the difference. When the experts, the perceived, they are not experts gani. When Wandai and Mbadi and Joho and Oparanya were given cabinet slots, they were not given because ODM had a deal with UDA. By that time, William Ruto was desperate to cool down the Gen Z tension. Then President Ruto realized, and that is why things were very strategic. Then the whole plan was to ensure that, after they're given, Raila is taken to AU. Now, when that plan backfired, that is when William Ruto then realized, I need to tie down and formalize some sort of an agreement with ODM. And I said, the 10-point agenda that Sifuna says is holding a microphone, is holding the marking scheme to confirm what they've been achieved, that 10-point agenda is not in the president's vocabulary. What is in president's vocabulary is that the events of KICC creates a euphoria, a hype, and a perception of Ruto and Raila working together on 2027 election. Raila team is pulling out saying, no, that is not what it means. The fact that working together did not mean I cannot criticize you. And the way Raila keeps on repeating, we are not in government, Ruto must get terrified. The man is walking out. And you could not ignore, Raila did not have a choice. Orengo and Nyong'o are speaking the majority voice. You cannot ignore the majority. And it's not just majority from Nyanza. It is majority across the country. So Raila Odinga must leave his chances wide open. He knows very well that this was not going to end well. Let me tell you, if Orengo, I want you to imagine a breaking news of Orengo and Nyong'o resigning from ODM party. Raila is punctured. They shall have exposed Raila as a selfish man who has betrayed them for the sake of government. And there was no way Raila was going to allow that debate to continue. It was not viable for him to allow Orengo and Nyong'o to continue being attacked, because that was playing in William Ruto's trap. The more they're being attacked and they're attacking, and the media maintains the narrative of a fallout between Raila and Orengo. Raila wanted to explain there is no fallout. And I told you people in this podcast, hakuna kitu kama fallout. That Orengo Raila fight, that was the making of the mainstream media. There is nothing like that. Thank you.